and welcome to Real Watchers Movie Club. My name is Garrett.
And I'm Kevin.
And we are your hosts. Movie Club is the show where we pick a movie and discuss it every week, just like a book club. On today's show, we are covering the sci-fi adventure film Super 8. Our thoughts and more coming up on Movie Club. Released in 2011, Super 8 was directed by J.J. Abrams and stars Elle Fanning, A.J. Michalka, and Kyle Chandler. During the summer of 1979, a group of friends witness a train crash and investigate subsequent unexplained events in their small town. The film has a 3.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd. Before we dive into our thoughts, though, we do want to issue a spoiler warning for the movie. We're going to be talking about everything that happens in it, so if you want to check out the movie, you should go ahead and do so, and then just come back. We don't want to ruin anything for you. So, but stay tuned to the end of the show to find out what movie we're covering next week, because it's one that I'm really excited for, and we'll have to see how it ends up being. Alrighty, Kevin, so Super 8 was your pick this week.
Yep.
What made you pick it?
I wanted to revisit this because I remember watching this a long time ago, and I really enjoyed it. And I don't know why I enjoyed it though, because I didn't remember a lot of it. So that's why I picked it. And we'll get into it, but I think it was pretty enjoyable. So.
Yeah, I certainly think it's an enjoyable movie. I don't think by any means that it is like an incredible movie. I simply think that it is a very nostalgic movie. This movie is definitely pining for those 80s and like 70s and 80s movies like E.T. or that's really the biggest influence. Close Encounters of the Third Kind is definitely in here. This movie is very Spielberg,
yes.
Which is kind of funny because I believe
he was executive, right?
I want to see if I think he was a producer on this. Yeah, he was a producer. So like it definitely feels Spielberg ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but let's go ahead and just dive into it. I just need to say right now, after watching this movie again, Stranger Things ripped off this.
Oh yeah. Oh,
like
100%.
I mean,
100%.
There are movies before this that were very similar too, but like this feels so Stranger Thingsy that it's kind of hard to ignore. But it is really funny to look at this now, right? We're looking at this 14 years later. And this was a time when J.J. Abrams was a hot name. You know, this was before the Star Wars sequels. This was before kind of all that drama. So this was the time when he was seen as a very exciting director. And he is a good director. I mean, his Star Trek movies were great. Force Awakens, I think, is a great movie. So, like, you know, like he is a great director, and it's still true here. But I think that this movie, for me, that its biggest failing, or the part that I don't like the most, is the horror aspects of it.
Okay, explain, because I really enjoyed the horror aspects of this movie.
So I think that because this movie is so, let me preface it by saying this: they do a good. They have great justification for why it is scary, because the kids themselves love horror movies and they're making a horror movie. Like that, it makes sense to make it scary to fit what they like. That makes sense. But I think because this movie is so E.T.-ish, and especially with its ending, what happens in the end with the alien just trying to get home. I feel like that the horror kind of goes against that. Like, I feel like the horror would work early on. Like, oh, it's a scary, strange creature. But then I would have liked for them to maybe, like, work with it. And not like a E.T. friendly kind of way, but like, no, we want to help you get home so you don't hurt anyone else. And then there's like a mutual thing. Like, I would have liked something like that. Because I think that would have been very 80s-ish, right? Like, and I think that would have been a lot better. Not that this movie is bad by any means, and it's not that like the horror doesn't like work. It is scary, but like I just would have liked a little bit more of that comfy like 80. Like I maybe that's kind of underselling it, because like Close Encounters of the Third Kind has some horror elements throughout it until it gets to the end. So that kind of sounds a little hypocritical, maybe. But I think
It's
with this
it's in
movie,
a different way though, because there's two different stories in a way as well.
sure,
So
sure, yeah,
mhm.
one's visiting and taking people, and then this one is like it's landed here and it's escaped and it's just causing havoc.
Yeah.
But like that's really the biggest thing. I also think that the visual effects are a little dated now, but that's
Yeah.
just normal,
Some of
you
them are.
know.
Yeah.
But
hmm
um, but I'm curious, like, is there anything for the movie that didn't work for you? Because
Uh,
like one of the things that usually wouldn't work for me are the
kid
child actors,
actors.
but the child actors here are great.
Yeah, I was gonna say the child actors are fantastic in this movie. I think that's why I picked it too, because I remember them being so good, and especially now since they've grown up, and we kind of sometimes get them into more movies and such. I really enjoyed that. But in my letterbox review, I think I put it perfectly. This is for kids who want to watch a horror movie but are very timid to watch a horror movie. This has those horror aspects in it, but then it also has a happy ending at the end of it. So it's like you get those suspense moments in this movie. I like how it's called a thriller and not a horror movie, because it's more of a suspense thriller movie, in my opinion. Um, and yeah, you get the little horror aspects of it. I will say, it was a little too dark, because I think they were trying to hide the CG aspect of the creature a lot more
Sure.
than they should, unfortunately. Um, but what I really liked was how the kids are making a movie and then accidentally stumble upon it, and I loved all the kid actors in this movie. I think were great. And I
Hmm.
like their enthusiasm about making a movie, and you had like everybody doing their own little part. So I really enjoyed just it made me think of like when I was a kid. I didn't do any of this, but gosh darn, maybe I should have, because that's really cool to do.
Yeah, like if I had the same passion for film then that I do now, like
hmm
in how it's made and why it's made, like I totally would have done this as a kid. But like like that's what I think what is so strong about this movie is the friendship the kids have, which is it
hmm
feels real.
hmm
The kid actors are good performers. They're doing their job exceedingly well.
hmm
And then the adults, like Kyle Chandler, is a great character as well. I mean, I would say we're not given enough time with him, but we're given enough to care. Or
Yeah. hmm
not given as much as I would like time, but we're given
Yeah.
enough to care, which is what I think I
hmm
was trying to say.
Yeah.
Um, but like, I love like this. It's kind of odd that this takes place in '79, right?
hmm
Because you would think that the movies that are so inspiring to young kids to make movies are things like Star Wars or Indiana Jones, typically at
hmm
that time, right? But this they're talking like classic monster movies and B movies, the kind of movies that were made on Super 8 cameras. So like that also makes it feel a lot more like lovable. It also kind of feels like the writers, which I believe J.J. Abrams was the writer on this. Yeah, J.J. Abrams wrote it. You could tell he's a fan of those movies as well, and like
hmm
he's trying to do justice to like maybe himself as a kid, and just like that's why it does feel special. It doesn't feel like it's trying to imitate. I think
hmm
it's trying to pay homage to a period and a time in JJ's life where he was those kids. He was the main character. But then also like you have the parents who are like maybe who he is at that time as opposed to when he was a kid. Like there's a lot of ways you could look into it.
hmm
And like that kind of fantasy of placing yourself in the movie that you like.
Yeah.
Um, which it all makes this work. This movie just works, and I think a lot of that is because of the nostalgia. It
Yeah.
feels like something that would have been made at that time
hmm
and just made with a more modern budget and sensibility and technology.
Yeah, and I really like the camera aspects in this, like the cinematography in this movie as well. You get the train crash and everything like that, which is it's decent, but then you get the whole big city reveals, and how it's in like kind of sometimes thriller movies. It's always dark, but in this movie you get a lot of light in this movie, which I really enjoyed, because kids sneak out at night to make the film, but then have to get back so they don't get in trouble and going to school the next day and all that stuff. So I really enjoyed that aspect of some things happen at night, but a lot of the times it happens during the day as well, just because they are kids. But this I really like the story of this movie too. It's just a bunch of friends that stumble upon something, and they have to figure out what it wants and stuff. And then when they find all of the films that the doctor has, I forget the doctor's name.
I don't remember either.
Dr. Thomas, but played by Glenn Truman. It was really good. I liked that. It feels so old school, and that's why maybe that's why I'm drawn to it a little bit more than some other movies. So, and then them finding it out, and then you getting involved in it as well, and I just really, I don't know, I can't stop saying it, but I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah, it's just an enjoyable, fun movie, and I think that is because it feels like the movies that we grew up watching, that J.J. Abrams grew up watching. Like, it feels like, it feels like E.T. and but like a little scarier. And I think that you were dead on the money earlier by like, this is a great movie to show people who are like horror curious, but don't want to see something that's necessarily scary. Like, it's a good way to kind of ease into the tension and ease into the thrills. And I think that is a smart way to watch this movie. Like, this is one that I could easily show. Like, I could see showing my niece later in the future. Like, obviously, which is lucky. My sister-in-law is a huge horror movie fan, so that's not an issue. But it's one of those movies I could see showing her and being like, "This is what horror can be. Do you like this or do you not like this?" And then
because it still has that more adventure part to it as well, more than the horror aspect of it, of them getting the camera ready, because they still want to film the movie no matter what, and that's their main aspect in this whole movie until everything shoots the shit pretty much. But yeah.
Alrighty, Kevin, so this was your movie this week. What's your final thoughts on your review?
My final thoughts are, like I said in the beginning, this is a great introduction to a partial horror movie, but more of a thriller movie at the same time for young adults. You have young kids that play their parts so well in this movie, that aren't annoying and act very, very well. I like the dynamic between all of the kid characters, and I also like the story that it tells. I wish the alien was seen a little bit more often in light, so I could see. Like, I couldn't even give you facial features of what the alien looks like, unfortunately.
I can't tell you what it looks like.
But, yeah, because it's always hidden in the dark and everything like that. And I also did like the aspect of them using a camera and making a film, and that makes it so homey to us, like we were talking about. So I gave it an 82 out of 100, which equates to 4 stars out of 5 for me.
Excuse me. Sorry, I just completely yawned. Okay. For me, I mean, there's enough to love here that I recommend it. I think that this film is very similar to E.T., which is a little bit more of a suspense, kind of a little bit of horror bent to it, which doesn't always work for me. I would have liked something just a lot more heartfelt the entire time. That is also thrilling, but we do get a great heartfelt ending, though. Like, it is a lot of fun. The kids are fantastic in this movie. It's a love letter in part to sci-fi, but also to B movies and to like growing up as someone who wanted to make films. And I'm a slut for movies that are about making movies. So I'm always gonna love that. But for me, I gave the film a 77 out of 100, which is 3.5 stars out of 5 on Letterboxd. I do recommend watching it if you've never seen it before. If you have seen it before, there are maybe other things that I would watch before this, but this is still something that I would recommend just in general. But that's going to be it. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Movie Club. Question now falls to you. What do you think of Super 8? We'd love to hear what you have to say down in the comment section down below. Just remember to be respectful of one another, because it's not that hard. It's not hard to be nice in a world that is increasingly mean. But next week, we're going to be taking a look at the Korean thriller Memories of Murder, which I am super excited to talk about, which I believe, I want to double check this real quick, because I do not want to get this wrong. which I believe, it's Bong Joon-ho, same director as Parasite and Mickey 17.
Oh,
so
okay.
very excited to talk about this movie. But that's going to be next week. Thank you so much for watching. And of course, we have our live stream that goes live every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we also have this show, which goes live every single Friday at 4 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, make sure to keep those eyes on the screen.